We can take comfort in knowing that she lived a life that was very full and that she had a relationship with you and that you are definitely going to remember her. So as we continue, we ask that you bless our efforts to really comfort each other and to strengthen each other, to bring to mind the lessons that we've learned from her, the way that she set an example with the way that she lived and the things that she taught us, and how she was always smiling and trying to uplift everyone around her. So we pray these things now in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. So to begin the program, we have Brianne Dyer come up, and she's going to sing a song for us.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieve. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
So that was her great granddaughter, and she represented very well. So now we're going to have a tribute that will be given, and so we'll ask for Nisha, Faith, and Sydney State to come up. That'll be her great grandchild, I think, great grandchild.
Good evening. 4 months ago, we had a Circle of Love dinner for our loved one, Miss Iris Duckworth. We wanted her to know how much we loved her and to enjoy the celebration with us. Our mother, sister, grandmother, aunt, and cousin loved to be among people. She truly enjoyed when people hugged her, touched her, or just took a little time out to ask her how she felt. We wanted to show her that we truly cared how she felt and that we understood her limitations. We also wanted her to know again how very much we appreciated the hard struggles and difficulties she endured so that we are who we are today. We especially appreciated the fact that she always pointed us in the best way that she knew how, to God. We had to go to Sunday morning church, Sunday school, Sunday night prayer meeting, Christian Endeavor on Wednesdays, and choir practice Friday nights at the Baptist church. And late on Sunday night, we went to the Pentecostal meeting where they sang and danced. The longevity she was blessed with ended unexpectedly in the early morning hours of Friday, November 15th, 2013. She would have been 94 years young on December 26th, but that was not to be. We truly thank the Almighty God Jehovah for her life and love. Grateful, grateful that we were able to show her how much we cared about her when she could hear, understand, and appreciate it. The genuine laughter or smile or facial expression that conveys that care or love is priceless. Mama was an only child up to age 13 when she was joined by a brother, Aston Lewis. 4 years later, she received a baby sister, Ina. At age 20, her mother died, and she found herself with 2 small siblings and her own very young baby girl to take care of. For survival, she turned to her relatives in her mother's hometown of Trelawney. There she met and married her husband and had her other children. Her family members with whom she spent her final days were her best friends. We all hope to see her in the resurrection, never to part again.
Thank you very much for that. Now we'll have a reading of the scripture. A reading of the scripture that will be Psalms chapter 23, verses 1 through 6, by Tara Thomas, who is a great grandchild.
Good evening. I'll be reading from the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. Jehovah is my shepherd, I will lack nothing. In grassy pastures, he makes me lie down. He leads me to well-watered resting places. He refreshes me. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for the sake of his name. Though I walk in the valley of deep shadows, I fear no harm. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff reassure me. You prepare a table for me before my enemies. You refresh my head with oil. My cup is well filled. Surely goodness and loyal love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Jehovah for all my days. May the Lord add a rich blessing to the reading of his holy word.
Thank you very much for that talk. Okay, and now we invite up Miss Lily Brown. Who's going to give a eulogy for Miss Iris Duckworth.
Good night, everyone. Mama became my mother after I left Teachers College in Jamaica, and the Lord was so good that he positioned me in Stewart Town to do my internship. Subsequently, I stayed with her, and I was so happy that when my uncle spoke with her, you know, they were cousins, said, my niece is coming to do an internship here. And so Mama said, just take her in. When I got in her house, of course, she said, they call me Mama, so you're going to call me Mama too. And that was where it all began. Interestingly, I spent roughly 4 years of my life after completing my internship, and I stayed there a little while longer until I moved on. And so, as my mother's cousin, we bonded a little closer. And eventually, I just started to call her Mama, like everybody else.
So here I am tonight, sharing with my relatives and loved ones the loss of someone so special, which I declare to be the matriarch of this great family. Mrs. Iris Duckworth, nee Iris Lawson, was born at Stewart Town in the parish of Trelawney to Gertrude Panton and Sidney Lawson, which was my great-grandfather, great-great-granduncle. She loved to be among people and thoroughly enjoyed the attention she received from well-meaning persons, especially in her advanced years. Just take a little time out to ask her how she feels was important to her. She was accustomed to being shown genuine love by her husband, Cyril Duckworth, Papa, who passed away in September 1999. He would always say, "I really love that little woman." And of course, those of us who knows him, he towers over her. She had reached him, I think, just about the shoulder there, and she was always secured standing by Papa. And he showed her and he showed it in many ways that he really, really loved her. Mama had a deep appreciation for her Creator. She knew that it was important that her children and siblings got some biblical education, and so she always pointed them to God in the best way that she knew how. And I'm going just to plug in a little experience I had here. I remember my second week in her house, she would get up in the morning and she would start breakfast, and Papa was a butcher, and so you could smell the aroma of the liver, Arlene, and sometimes ackee and codfish and all of those delicious delicacies that we enjoy in Jamaica. And while she's cooking, she would be singing. And she would be singing some of her favorite gospel songs. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus. And she would keep on singing. But you know what? Afterwards, I discovered that that was her way of waking us up to make sure that we would have breakfast and then get ready to go down to the Baptist church. Now, even though at times she might not go, you better make sure you are ready to go to church. And so that was her way of instilling in us that godly principles, that there is a supreme creator. Mama's almost everyone referred to her has been blessed with longevity since she was 93 years old on December 26, 2012. But we recognize too that that longevity would eventually come to an end, and it did so in the early morning hours on Friday, November 15, 2013, just 41 days before her 94th birthday. Mama was an only child, as you've heard prior, and up to age 13, when she was blessed with a little brother we call Uncle Lassie Ashton Lewis. Four years later, she received a baby sister, Auntina, and I'm sure she was so happy having them. Life in Falmouth, Trelawney got pretty rough, partly because at age 20, her mother died, and this unskilled young lady found herself with two small siblings and a child of her own, with no job, no savings. Since whatever there was depleted with her mother's illness and long hospitalization, she turned to her mother's hometown and her relatives in Trelawney. Upon her return to Stewart Town, a gentleman and his wife who lived nearby saw Mama's plight and rented her a little apartment. And despite no income, she was comfortable there. We have heard so many times that the concept of necessity is the mother of invention, and subsequently, Mama was driven to become an entrepreneur and invented a way and means of earning an income for herself. Mama started to try to make many goodies. Her mother used to make and sell it to the community. Things like fritters, codfish fritters, fried dumpling, chocolate fudge, coconut drops, and the list goes on. We all know, those of us from the Caribbean, those nice things, eh? School children were her chief customers, and they would walk a distance just to get one of her fried fritters. I used to enjoy those myself. And after a long time, everyone in the community began to support this business. With practice and necessary determination, she perfected her craft to the extent where adults became so satisfied that they would continually come by to purchase some of these goodies. By now, young Ashton had to grow up to become a little man faster than he thought or anticipated. And he too joined in partnership in this business, and together they worked it, we would say. The business grew, and after a while, when sister got some money, as Uncle Ashton would say, she'd buy herself a piece of land. They eventually got a little bigger place. She met and married the love of her life, Cyril Duckworth, and this union produced 3 girls, and later, as the adage is used in Jamaica, a wash belly in the person of Barbara. The two worked together at different things, including butchering, as Papa was a butcher, a farmer, and later he established animal husbandry business. As the business grew, they operated a grocery store. They then purchased a larger bit of property with a house, which was later enlarged and improved to accommodate their expanding family. As their children successfully completed elementary school, then college, the socioeconomic condition likewise improved. As a result, the children began their migrating to the United States, and Mama eventually enjoyed traveling along with her children. Iris Duckworth is survived by 3 of her daughters and her stepsons. The eldest child, Pearl, Bernita Thomas, lost her fight for life to the unwilling enemy of cancer on the last day of December 2012. Mama reared many other children, and she did not bring to birth, but whom she loved and cherished as if she was their biological mother. Miss Iris is also a way that the people in the community refer to her, and she is now survived by her only sister, Ina, and brother, Ashton. Likewise, children, Rhea, which we call Jenny, Gloria Duckworth, Rhea Duckworth Murray, Jenny, Gloria Duckworth Gordon, Barbara Duckworth Ashman, Arnold Duckworth, Ken Duckworth, and Sam Duckworth. Many grandchildren: Bloet, Andrea, Anthea, Ian, Leighton, Brian, Tara, Meisha, Glenworth, Allison, David. Nieces: Arlene, Heather, and Julie. Nephews: Martin, Marvin. 26 great grandchildren and 4 great great grandchildren. Mama also left behind many near and dear grandnieces, grandnephews, cousins, and in-laws. She was the matriarch of this great family. She had a sense of securitiveness, and she fostered a family bond. She always liked to know that as family we stick together. You mix up like cornmeal and flour, so you cannot be separated. She had other loving relatives, and one fact that she would stress all the time: family is important. We truly thank Jehovah God for her, for the example she has left us, and for the upbringing she gave us. Mama will dearly be missed. Let us, though, remember her with much of her smiles and laughter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chandra. That was a beautiful eulogy. I told you she had a lot of grandchildren. And you can see that family was always something that was very important. So, anytime you spoke to her, she was always asking you, not about herself or talking about herself necessarily, but asking you how this one was doing, how that one was doing, or where's this one, where's that one. And she could name all of her grands and great-grands and great-great-grands by name, which is amazing considering how many of them there are. But now we're going to give attention to another one of her grands, Richard Duckworth. And Richard is now going to take the time to share a poem with us in memory of Mama.
The poem is called A Time for Everything. There is an appointed time for everything, a time for every activity under the heavens, a time for birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what was planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to wail and a time to dance, a time to throw stones away and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up as a loss, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to rip apart and a time to sew together, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. I have seen the occupation that God has given to the sons of men to keep them occupied. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has even put eternity in their heart. Yet mankind will never find out the work that the true God has made from us, from start to finish. I have concluded that there is nothing better for them than to rejoice and to do good during their life. Also that everyone should eat and drink and find enjoyment for all his hard work. It's the gift of God. Your time has come, Mama. But I have come to know that everything that God makes will endure forever. There is nothing to add it to and nothing to subtract from it. God has made it this way. Whatever happens has already happened, and what has come has already been. and that was actually based on Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 15.
So you probably noticed also that there's a very spiritual theme to this whole arrangement, and that's in keeping with the person that we're here to honor. She was always a very spiritually minded person. She always took the opportunity to speak about God and to tell people how much she loved Him whenever she had the chance. And she didn't care where she was. She had an opportunity to sing a song about Him or to worship with those who wanted to worship Him. She would take that opportunity regularly, and she would encourage others to do so as well. And so, in keeping with that, and how much she loved to sing, we're now going to invite up, once again, Lily Brown. And she's going to lead a song that's found in the program.
The message of this song might not be interpreted as in some way, but this was one of the songs that she liked to sing, and we would like just to remember her as we sing the song. It says, when the trunk of God, when the road is called up yonder. And I would ask those of us who know just to sing along with me. The trumpet of the Lord shall sound, and time shall be no more, and the morning grace eternal bright and clear. When the saints of God shall gather around the other shore, and the road is called up yonder out of the air. When the road is called up yonder, when the road is called up yonder, when the road is called up yonder. On that bright and cloudy morning, cloudless morning when the day in Christ shall rise, when the glory of His resurrection share, when the chosen ones shall gather to their home beyond the sky, and the road is called up yonder on the air. When the road is called up yonder, when the road is called up yonder, when the road is called up yonder, when the road is called up yonder out of the air. Let us labor, let us labor, just as though the mountains stand firm, and the soul of His wondrous love and care. Then when all of life is over and the work on earth is done, and the road is called up yonder on the air. Everybody sing. When the road is called up yonder, when the road is called up yonder, when the road is called up yonder, when the road is called up yonder out of the air. Thank you.
Thank you again for that. I know many people have shared many wonderful times and memories with her, things that you remember about her. And so at this time, we're going to offer a chance for many of you to come up and express some of those thoughts, or if there's anything that anyone would like to say with regards to this unexpected.
I think I'm one of the only few ones that could actually speak at this point, so I'll go ahead. My name is Anthea Murray, and I'm Iris Duckworth's granddaughter. Thank you. My grandmother lived with us for the last 5 years or so, and many of you might not know, but she had dementia towards the end of her life. And it made for some very interesting conversations. When she was okay, everything was fine. She knew where she was, and she knew this was Brooklyn and who I was. And there were times when the dementia did hit her, and she thought she was back in Trelawney. And many a time she wanted to go pick up off the brownstone. And when she come in, she just come from Falmouth. And she saw a lot of people that are no longer here. And but I got to learn a lot about my family because she would talk about them. People that died that I was not familiar with them. So I got to know a lot of my, I guess, cousins and grand cousins and things like that. So we always had a good time talking to her because I really got to know who my family was. The ones that are here now, the ones that are who were passed. And I really appreciate that about my grandmother because she did try to know all her relatives. And she could name quite a few of them, you know. And so those are one of the little memories I will take away with me when I think about her. And also that smile. It took me a long time to realize my grandmother could smile because she was always a hard worker. And she was determined to make sure you had your food, you had your shoes, you had your school books, you did what you're supposed to do. So the smile wasn't coming because she was so determined to make sure you had what you needed. In the later years though, when she could relax and let us take care of her, that smile was forever present. That same smile right there. And so I treasure the memories of my grandmother, and I love her very much. And I'm sad to see her go, but the things that she's taught me and the memories of her will last me forever.
So hello everybody. I'm the wash belly that everybody was talking about. So my sister Jenny gets to have her during the week, and I get to have her on the weekends. And when she's over by me and she does things that I really, really don't like, she'll look at me and she'll say, "Why are you lying about it? Why are you lying about it? Oh, the dinner already, the dinner already." So all you could do was just laugh with her, and you know, most of the time she would sit there and you hear her say things like that, and you know, I remember those things, and now I can laugh because, you know, she's right. You couldn't do anything. If she does those things, you just have to laugh and shake your head and do what you need to do for her and move on. But I remember many days as a little kid, you know, walking back and forth, and you know, we would travel a lot together because she never went anywhere without me that I can remember. And every time we went someplace together, or we were taking the bus to Kingston to visit my big sister, or any of those occasions, you know, she would stop along the road, and you know, people would be buying you know, stuff from whatever is on the corner. My mother would just go in here, and I get food. She would never, you know, she would never be the one to buy from the person on the corner because she's saving her money. But you know, she had stuff she brought from home. It was always in. I remember one day we were in Falmouth, and we were getting ready to go to Falmouth, and she's packing up, and I'm like, "Mom, why are you doing that? Stop that." When we got to Falmouth, I was hungry. So, you know, that was the kind of person she was, and that's who I remember. You know, I just keep those good memories and positive thoughts in mind. So, you know, thank you guys for all coming and remembering my mom.
If there's any Anyone else that would like to share anything? Well, I think this.
My name is Alfred Harris. I'm being back. I'm being back. Just being back. Miss Murray was talking to me Monday night and tell, you know. But anyway, we grew up in Stratton and Miss Iris was so loving. You know, you have a shop. And all of us kids, so we going up to Miss Iris. Miss Iris, sweet. Everybody gets something from Miss Iris. And I'm so sorry that, you know, we in Jamaica won't get to come. But he's here, so he do everything like this. She was down there. So I just hope that God will bless her, keep her, and someday we see her in the bright sky. Thank you.
Is there an opportunity for someone else to speak?
Good evening. I am the brother. It is very beautiful. My mother died when I was 7, and she was just 12, I think. And she hit me. And we was there together as brother and sister. And she's my mother. And we lived together and we got this truck down on the road. The good thing about it, she never gave me it because she didn't have anything to give. But whatever she had, it was for us. And she didn't give me away to anybody. Although people was trying to get other children for them, but she never gave me away. And we worked together as sister and brother, and we lived and we raised our children. And Miss Harris is always my sister.
Good night, everyone. I am the daughter of Lurleen Brown, the lady that presented the eulogy tonight. I know I didn't get to say this to Mama all the time, but I did love her. She raised me for the earlier parts of my life. When my mother left me in Jamaica, she's a very strong woman. And she was so determined, and she did everything she could to raise me, you know, in the absence of my mother. I wanted her, I didn't get the chance to let her know. But I love her, and I appreciated everything she did in those early years of my life while I lived in Stratton with her and my Cyril. When we used to sit down on the veranda, this is one memory I had of both of them sitting down on the veranda together at night. And sometimes we just sit there in the silence of the night, just looking out into the stars, you know, just looking out at the stars at night. And Mama wasn't so much more of the one who would hug me as much, but Papa was the one that was always that comforting one, but she always let me know that she loved me by the things that she did. You know, she said, Renee, you know, come here, come let me wipe your face, or, you know. She used to do some little things that, you know, was embedded in my mind that I knew that she loved me. I just want you all to know that this is a great woman, and she was very special to all of us. And I want us to just keep the memories of her,
the good memories of her always in our hearts. And as we celebrate her life, let us continue to just remember that she is a wonderful woman.
Thank everyone who was able to share their sentiments and feelings about Mama. We really appreciate the heartfelt emotion that everyone's been able to convey. And so, I'd like to say that the family would like to thank everyone for coming and being a part of this and for recognizing her. So, with Mama, to her, whether she's known you for 93 years or 93 seconds, whether you're a young lady or whether you're just someone that she just met, she considered pretty much everyone she met to be family. And so, with that thought, we'd like to thank you all for coming. And at this time, we're going to end the service with a prayer. Our God in heaven, we come before you thankful for your allowing us to come together to commemorate the life of Miss Iris Duckworth. And so as we take this time to remember the wonderful influence she's had on our lives and to try to strengthen and encourage one another, we want to remember that even though this is a great loss, we still can take so many things from the way that she lived her life and the way that she's encouraged us to live ours. And so as we go our separate ways, we want to continue to keep that feeling and to stay strong as a family and as individuals and to help to strengthen each other. We pray all these things now in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. And so, now the service is over, everyone can proceed to the repast. Starts at 8 o'clock. The location is 9302 Fitness Avenue. That's Fitness Avenue by 93rd Street. It's like a dead end you go on. So 93rd
Like this job is on the way coming out. Can I make an interview this new one?